A Scandal in Bohemia. For Sherlock Holmes, she was always the woman. Her name was Irene Adler. He did not love her, but he respected her very much. Holmes did not like emotions. He preferred logic and clear thinking. I had not seen Holmes for a long time. I was married now, and busy with my work as a doctor. Holmes still lived in Baker Street. He spent his time studying crimes and solving difficult cases. One evening, in March 1888, I walked past Baker Street. I decided to visit Holmes. I saw that his room was full of light. He was walking quickly inside. I knew he was working on a new case. I went in. Holmes was glad to see me, but he did not show much emotion. He looked at me carefully and said, "You are married, you work again, and you were outside in bad weather." I was surprised, but Holmes explained everything. He noticed small details, my shoes, my hands, my clothes. From this, he understood everything. "You see, but you do not observe," Holmes said. Then he showed me a letter. It had no name or date. The letter said that a man would visit Holmes that night at 7:45. The man would wear a mask. Holmes studied the paper and the writing. He said, "This paper is from Bohemia. The writer is German." Soon, we heard a carriage. A tall man entered the room. He wore expensive clothes and a mask. He called himself Count von Kram. Holmes said I could stay. The man asked us to keep a secret. Then he told the truth. He was actually the king of Bohemia. The king had a problem. Years ago, he knew a woman, Irene Adler. He wrote letters to her and had a photo with her. Now she had this photo. The king planned to marry a princess, but Irene Adler wanted to send the photo to the princess's family. This could destroy the marriage. The king tried many times to get the photo back, but he failed. Holmes asked, "When will she send it?" "On Monday," the king said. "We still have time," Holmes answered calmly. The king gave Holmes money and the woman's address, Briony Lodge in London. Holmes agreed to take the case. "Come tomorrow," Holmes said to me. "We will discuss the plan." At 3 o'clock, I came to Baker Street, but Holmes was not at home. The landlady said he left early in the morning. I sat near the fire and waited. I was very interested in this case. Holmes was always successful. I never thought he could fail. At about 4 o'clock, the door opened. A strange man came in. He looked dirty and drunk. But then I understood it was Holmes in disguise. He smiled and went to his room. Soon he came back, clean and well-dressed. He sat down and began to laugh. "It is too funny," he said. "What happened?" I asked. "You will never guess," he said. "I will tell you everything." He explained his day. "I went out at 8 o'clock," he said, dressed as a poor stable worker. He found Irene Adler's house, Briony Lodge. "It is a small, nice house," he said, with a garden behind it. He walked around and looked at everything. Then he went to a nearby street with horses and drivers. He helped them and got some money and information. "Tell me about Irene Adler," I asked. "She is very beautiful," Holmes said. "All men like her. She lives quietly. She sings at concerts. Every day she goes out at 5 and comes back at 7. She has one visitor," Holmes said. "A man named Godfrey Norton. He is a lawyer. He visits her often." Holmes thought about this man. Who is he to her? Holmes asked himself. A friend, a client, or more? Then, something happened. A cab came to the house. A man got out. It was Godfrey Norton. He went inside. He stayed for about 30 minutes. Then he ran out, very fast. Drive quickly, he shouted. To the church. Soon, another carriage came. A woman got in. It was Irene Adler. To the church, she said. Holmes quickly took a cab and followed them. At the church, something surprising happened. The man saw Holmes and ran to him. Come quickly, he said. We need a witness. Holmes did not understand, but he agreed. In a few minutes, Irene Adler and Godfrey Norton were married. Holmes laughed. It was very strange, he said. What happened next? I asked. I was worried, Holmes said. They could leave London at once. But they left the church separately. She said, I will go out at 5, as usual. Holmes made a plan. I need your help, Watson, he said. Of course, I answered. You must not interfere, Holmes said. Just watch and do what I say. He gave me a small smoke rocket. When I raise my hand, throw this into the room and shout, Fire! Later, Holmes changed his clothes again. Now he looked like a kind priest. At evening, we went to Briony Lodge. It was dark. People were in the street. Holmes said, The photo must be in her house. Soon, her carriage arrived. Suddenly, a fight started in the street. Men shouted and pushed each other. Holmes ran to help her, but suddenly fell to the ground. People cried, He is hurt. Irene Adler said, Bring him inside. They carried Holmes into the house. I stood near the window and watched. Holmes moved his hand. I threw the smoke rocket and shouted, Fire! Everyone began to shout, Fire! Fire! Smoke filled the room. Irene Adler ran to hide something. Holmes saw it. After that, he stood up and left the house. Later, we met in the street. You did well, Watson, Holmes said. Do you have the photo? I asked. No, but I know where it is. Where? She showed me, Holmes said. He explained. When people think there is a fire, they run to the thing they love most. She ran to the photo. Now Holmes knew the place. Tomorrow morning, he said, we will go with the king and take it. We came back to Baker Street. Suddenly, someone said, Good night, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. Holmes stopped. I know that voice, he said. But who was it?
Подпишись, пожалуйста, или хотя бы поставь лайк. Один лайк не меняет мир, но меняет путь того, кто делится смыслом.